So, hey everyone, myself Nikhil Shetty, a faculty member of Educate Tutorials. Today we are going to deal with our topic that is cell biology and biotechnology. These are the topics to be covered in today's session, of which we are going to emphasize on the first two topics, that is cell biology or cytology and stem cells. So let's commence with our today's session. Speaking about cell biology, when we refer to the words individually, that is cell and biology, where biology is a branch of science that deals with living organisms. So basically, if we consider this thing, it means cell biology or cytology is a branch of biology at cellular level. In order to know more about it, we should know some important factors like where it all began. It was back in the year 1665, a British botanist, Robert Hooke, who examined a cross-section of a cork. A cork is basically composed of dead cells originated from trees' outer bark. So basically, Robert Hooke examined a cross-section of a cork with the help of a primitive microscope. So it basically looked like the image on the right side under a primitive microscope. Considering his work later in the year 1838, a theory was proposed by Matthias Sladen and Theodor Scaven, termed as cell theory. This theory were composed of certain terminologies, like all living things are made up of cells. Cells are the basic unit of structure, function and physiology of living things. Living cells can come only from other pre-existing cells. These three terminologies were universally accepted. Later on, there were two modern terminologies which were added up. Cells contain and pass on hereditary information during cell division. All cells are relatively the same in relation to chemical composition and metabolic activities. Even these terminologies were later accepted. Cytology also deals with many questions which are arose with respect to cells. Where do cells come from? Sometimes you accidentally injure yourself, but in a matter of few days, the wound gets healed. Why is it? Surely it isn't a magic trick. It has an explanation. Every day, every hour, every second, one of the most important events in the life is going on in our body. That is, cells are dividing. A single cell divides to make two cells, and these two cells then divide to make four cells, and so on. We call this process as cell division and cell reproduction because new cells are formed when old cells divide. Coming to the next question, why do cells divide? Cells divide for many reasons. For example, when you get injured, cells divide to replace old, dead or damaged cell. Cells also divide so living things can grow. When organisms grow, it isn't because cells are getting larger. Organisms grow because cells are dividing to produce more cells. In cell division, the cell that is dividing is called the parent cell. The parent cell divides into two daughter cells. This process then repeats in what it is called as cell cycle. Cells regulate their division by communicating with each other using chemical signals from special proteins called cyclins. So this answers our third question: how do cells know when to divide? As I said before, new cells are formed from old cells, and that's how a tissue is formed. There are also some specialized cells which may lead to the formation of different cell types. They are called as stem cells. Topic: stem cells are special human cells that are able to develop into many different cell types. So these are some cell types which are originated from stem cells. Stem cells are basically classified into two ways, that is, on the basis of differentiation and at origin level. So let's first see the classification based on differentiation basis. Stem cells classification on the basis of differentiation. Totipotent stem cells, pluripotent stem cells, multipotent stem cells, unipotent stem cells, and oligopotent stem cells. Totipotent stem cells are the cells which can give rise to all cell types. Pluripotent stem cells can give rise to the cell types which are present in the organism. Multipotent stem cells are the cell types which can only be isolated from a specific cells of origin. Unipotent stem cells are the cells which has the ability to produce only one type of cell. Oligopotent stem cells, these cells can only differentiate into few types of cells. Next is the classification based on origin. Stem cells are classified on the basis of origin into two types, that is, embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. Embryonic stem cells are found in the early stages of embryo. Zygote. The early stage of embryo is divided, forming morula. Blastocyst is formed from morula after 5 to 6 days of fertilization. Blastocyst is composed of trophoblast, which is the outer layer of inner cell mass, which is composed of pluripotent stem cells. We will later watch an image of this explanation. Adult stem cells. They are found in differentiated tissues like bone marrow and brain. They remain undifferentiated but always self-renew in the tissue. The differentiation of adult stem cells only takes place into specialized cells only when the tissue of origin has their need. Example, hematopoietic stem cells. So as you can see here, the fertilized oocytes leads to the formation of zygotes, which further divides into morula and then blastula, giving rise to the embryonic stem cells, which are pluripotent in nature. These embryonic stem cells further give rise to endodermal stem cells, mesodermal stem cells, ectodermal stem cells, etc. Later, dead stem cells, that is the hematopoietic stem cell, which gives rise to different types of cell types, along with self-renewal, of course, as the adult cells only gets differentiated when the tissue of origin is in the need. These cells have certainly carried attention in the field of therapies. Like regenerative therapies, cell therapy. Stem cells are used to replace the dead cells in case of conditions like diabetes, myocardial infarction, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, etc. To produce cells required in the conditions like anemia, where the RBCs are weak, leukemia, that is the blood cancer. Later, there is organ transplantation in case of organ failures like kidney and liver. Those can be reproduced with the help of, they can be produced with the help of stem cells and transplanted again. There is an image on the right which shows the degenerative disease of many tissues and organs which might be treated by transplanting either stem cells or stem cells derived material. When it comes to organ transplantation, there are some factors which should be taken under consideration. Like various organs in human body either becomes less efficient or completely functionless due to various reasons like aging, accidents, infections and disorders. The most important factor is the availability of donor. Each person has a pair of kidneys, as the process of excretion can occur with the help of single kidney. Person can donate another kidney. Similarly, skin from certain parts of bodies can also be donated. But there are some factors which are important and should be considered while transplantation. These factors include blood group, diseases, disorders, age, etc. of the donor. However, there are the organs which cannot be donated during lifetime. Organs like liver, heart, eyes can be donated after death only. Coming to the organ and body donation, it has been seen that after death, human bodies are disposed of as per their traditional customs. But due to progress in science, it has been realized that many organs remain functional for a certain period even after death occurs under specific conditions. So, what's the motive behind the organ and body donation? Organ donation and body donation have emerged recently after realization that such organs can be used to save life of another needful persons. A view behind the concept of organ and body donation is that after death our body should be useful to other needful persons so that their miserable life would become comfortable rather than hectic. Awareness about this concept is increasing in our country and people are voluntarily donating their bodies. Blinds can regain their vision. Life of many people can be rendered comfortably by donations of organs like liver, kidney, heart, valves, skin, etc. Similarly, body can be available for research in medical studies. With this, I conclude this session. In next session, we will be going through our remaining part, that is biotechnology. So thank you and have a nice day.